asked this question last week on a video I posted about my PDA child and a significant meltdown he had. And it's a really fair question. If I'm honest, it's probably one that a lot of PDA parents have asked themselves, especially when the child is in burnout. I am an ADHD mom of neurospicy kiddos, and I'm on this mission to help my family thrive and not just survive. And part of that is really figuring out this question: how will my child grow up to be a functioning adult? And the crazy thing is, I'm actually less worried about that than getting him safely through childhood, because what he craves and what his body wants is that autonomy, that ability to make his own decisions. So what can I do? So there's a couple of things we focus on to help usher him through childhood so that he can be that successful adult. One is making sure he's in the right school environment, that his primary environment is a place where he can feel psychologically safe. So for us, that was pulling him out of traditional school and putting him in a Sudbury model school where he is tasked with figuring out his own way of preparing for adulthood and education. Secondly, it's minimizing the external demands that I choose to the bare minimum, to the necessities, and then scaffolding those as best I can to make them as easy as possible for him. And then trying to watch for his desires and the demands he puts on himself and help support those as best as we can. Because kids with pathological demand avoidance often put high expectations on their own selves, especially for the priorities that they've chosen. They're just not super into the priorities that I've chosen or you've chosen. And that is not the same as being a bulldozer parent, meaning you clear the whole path so that the child never struggles. Because the truth is that especially PDA children and a lot of neurodivergent children struggle internally so much just to even participate in normal society. Nobody bats an eye if someone with a broken leg needs to alter the demands that are placed on them, needs to change their priorities because they need to heal. And that is very true of kids in PDA as they are growing and developing, is they need that space to experience a lower level of nervous system activation so that they can learn the coping skills and grow the way that they need to. I'm also going to throw in there that it's really important to mark progress. So I shared about a really significant meltdown that really changed my whole day. And yet, looking back on it, I realized that we used to have that kind of level of meltdown every day. That was before we understood about PDA, before we knew what he needed, and before we provided those supports that he needed. My PDA kiddo is also one of the most